but Palestinian people are not disposable. We are human beings, just like anyone else. My city, my grandmother, like all Palestinians, just wants to live her life with freedom and human dignity we all deserve. Speaking up to save lives, Mr. Chair, no matter faith, no matter ethnicity, should not be controversial in this chamber. The cries of the Palestinian and Israeli children sound no different to me.
United States of America funding in solidarity the people of Israel in defense of their right to exist. That by virtue of our position as Americans, standing in front of that flag in this chamber representing 330 million Americans, that by
In this explosive episode of A Listen Reacts, we break down one of the most heated congressional moments in recent memory, Rashida Tlaib's controversial defense of Hamas rhetoric on the House floor. After Hamas' brutal terrorist attack on innocent Israelis, Tlaib doubled down, repeating the phrase, "from the river to the sea," a slogan long associated with the destruction of Israel. While some Democrats tried to hide behind free speech, patriotic Americans are asking, when did freedom of speech become freedom from accountability?
That's what this debate is about. With that, I yield 4 minutes to the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Roy.
Gentleman from Texas is recognized for 4 minutes.
I thank the gentleman from Georgia for his time. And with respect to the gentleman from Maryland, I understand the perspectives with respect to free speech. And I certainly wish to always stand aside the protection of free speech in this country. But this goes well beyond that, because we're not talking about restraining the gentleladies from Michigan's ability to speak as an American citizen. We're not talking about punishing her, putting her in jail. What we're talking about is whether a member of the United States House of Representatives, whether a member of this body representing this nation is justified in putting forward a defense of the actions of Hamas terrorists that murdered innocent Israeli citizens, is holding United States citizens and Israelis hostage, and in her own language was defending on October 8th, a mere 24 hours into the brutal and barbaric attacks in which babies were beheaded, babies were placed into ovens. Literally, moms were raped in a house while their babies were put in an oven. A documented account, video evidence. And this is dismissed as resistance to an apartheid state. My problem is that the gentlelady is also referring to, quote, Joe Biden supporting the genocide of the Palestinian people. The gentlelady has put forward that by virtue of the United States of America funding in solidarity the people of Israel in defense of their right to exist, that by virtue of our position as Americans, standing in front of that flag in this chamber representing 330 million Americans, that by funding and supporting Israel, we are somehow perpetuating the call for violence that we saw unfold right before our eyes on October 7th in the most brutal and heinous acts that some of us have ever seen. I do not doubt the gentlelady's sincerity of her concern for her home people and concerns about the attacks on the people of Gaza. I had some people who called into question that I would put out my public support for my former colleague, Justin Amash, who lost cousins in a church, receiving missile fire into a building next to a church. I genuinely pray for the people of Israel, the people of Gaza, the people throughout the world that are now dealing with all of this. But the gentlelady cannot, as a member of Congress, be standing up and telling the world that what we saw unfold in attacking Israel is justified. We can't. Free speech matters. I have grave concern right now about where this institution is going with respect to censures. I voted against the censure last week because I thought it had drafting problems, and I thought it had significant concerns it raised. I believe the work that was done by my friend from Georgia here put forward a resolution that is worthy of support. And so I support the resolution and believe that we should pass it. I thank the gentleman from Georgia.
Reserved.
Gentleman yields back. Gentleman reserved. Gentleman from Maryland is recognized.
I recognize the gentlelady from Massachusetts for 1 minute.
The gentlelady is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise in opposition to this censure resolution that is blatantly Islamophobic, anti-democratic, and an utter waste of time. This resolution is as dishonest as it is unproductive. Any member who denies that Congresswoman Tlaib is opposed to the killing of civilians, Israeli, Palestinian, and Americans alike, is willfully ignoring the truth. Representative Tlaib was elected by voters in Michigan to do exactly what she does best: advocate for a better, safer, more just world. She leads with love, speaks truth to power, and seeks justice even when her life and that of her family and her staff are threatened. As a daughter, mother, sister, friend, advocate, and effective duly elected three-term first ever Palestinian American member of Congress, she has been a much-needed voice in an institution that has too often failed to listen. Today, Republicans are again attacking a Democratic colleague just because they don't like what she has to say. Another shameful...
Welcome back to A Listen Reacts. If you love truth, patriotism, and standing up for what's right in this country, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. It helps the channel grow, and it lets YouTube know that real Americans still have a voice. Now, I just finished watching this congressional debate, and let me tell you, what we're seeing in our own House of Representatives is both heartbreaking and infuriating. We just watched lawmakers argue over whether Rashida Tlaib, a sitting member of Congress, should be censured for her repeated anti-Israel rhetoric that echoes the very words of Hamas terrorists who slaughtered innocent men, women, and children on October 7th. You had representatives standing on that floor defending her speech, as if it's some kind of noble expression of free thought. But let's get one thing straight. This isn't about free speech. This is about moral clarity. This is about whether the people we elect to represent the United States of America will side with our allies or side with the butchers of innocent civilians. Representative Tlaib has publicly repeated the phrase, "from the river to the sea." And while she claims it's about freedom and coexistence, anyone who understands history knows exactly what that means. It's a slogan used by groups that want to wipe Israel off the map, every inch of it. It's not a call for peace. It's a call for destruction. And yet, she stands by it proudly. Now, what's even more shocking is how some Democrats, like Jamie Raskin, tried to spin this as a First Amendment issue. He stood there and gave a long, polished speech about freedom of speech, comparing this situation to constitutional rights and past moments in American history. But let me ask you something. Since when did freedom of speech mean freedom from accountability? Since when did it mean that a member of Congress can openly repeat terrorist propaganda and face no consequences? There's a difference between disagreeing on policy and aligning yourself with groups that literally call for genocide. And yet, in that chamber, we saw lawmakers act as if it's courageous to defend rhetoric that fuels hatred against Jews not just in the Middle East, but right here in America. Let's not forget what's been happening across this country. Jewish students hiding in college libraries because pro-Hamas mobs are chanting in the hallways. Protesters shouting, "Glory to our martyrs," on American campuses. A Jewish man killed in California after a violent confrontation during an Israel protest. That's not free speech. That's what happens when hateful words turn into hateful actions. And while Rashida Tlaib cries that she's being silenced, the truth is she's louder than ever. She stands on the House floor, paints herself as the victim, and blames Israel. even as terrorists murder children and burn families alive. She talks about justice and dignity, but where is the dignity in defending those who use human shields? Where's the justice for the innocent civilians murdered by Hamas? One member, a Navy SEAL who saw the aftermath of those attacks firsthand, spoke about what he witnessed: the burned bodies, the slaughtered families, the babies torn from their mothers. That's not propaganda. That's reality. And anyone who still tries to blur the line between right and wrong after hearing that has lost their moral compass. This isn't about politics anymore. This is about decency. It's about whether America will stand with civilization or with barbarism. Israel is our ally, the only democracy in a sea of chaos, and when they're attacked, we should stand with them without hesitation. So yes, Rashida Tlaib has the right to speak. But the House of Representatives also has the right to make it crystal clear that her hate does not speak for America. The censure isn't about silencing her. It's about sending a message that we will not tolerate anti-Semitism or the glorification of terrorism in the People's House. You know, what frustrates me most is how moral cowardice has become fashionable. Instead of condemning evil, too many people try to understand it. They talk about context while innocent people are slaughtered. Well, here's the context. Hamas is a terrorist organization. Israel is a sovereign nation defending itself. And America should be standing shoulder to shoulder with them, not apologizing for it. This debate showed us exactly where our leaders stand, and some of them made it clear they've forgotten what America is supposed to represent. But we, the people, haven't. We still stand for truth, for freedom, for our allies, and for what's right. If you agree that it's time to hold our leaders accountable and stand against this moral confusion spreading across our country, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and share this video with someone who still believes America should stand for something. Because if we don't speak up now, this moral rot will only spread further. I'm Alyson, and this is Alyson Reacts, where we stand up for truth, faith, and freedom, no matter who it offends.